This is a series of films that tells the history of contemporary fashion photography as seen through the eyes of models. Sort of debated when I was putting this series together of whether I should show any of my own work, because obviously it's a little... Just for, well, I actually want to talk to you about something else. Obviously, I don't want to know my own modus operandi, what you were looking at, or what you could hear, or how I speak to you, so I'm talking all too painfully, I know. But what I am interested in here is a comment I think I told you recently when I saw you when we were doing the Olympics. That you said to me, "Oh, have you told me I'd have gone further?"
I don't remember saying that.
Yeah, that's
no.
part of my psyche. I'm part of my fantasy. Just to describe, for the sake of this is a series of fantasies that came from a John Galliano show where he'd use different sorts of physical people. So he'd use very small people and very big, large women and old people and young people. And I'd asked all those people who weren't conventional models to say their fantasy. And I can't remember exactly what Christoph's fantasy was here, but it was being with some beautiful tall woman or something along those lines, which we then reenacted out in all different suites of the Ritz, which is because that's where I was staying, because that's where John would have put me. And I was interested in here that it seemed to me, because it was, I'm right in thinking this is before you'd done any film work. And bearing in mind I actually believed that you did say that thing and therefore made
I'm
theory
sure I
on
did.
it. It seemed to me that you were questing to do other things still, that you wanted to because this was
And you
film.
thought that at the time?
I thought I was when I was working with you at the time. I felt that you were becoming more of an actress, less of a model, in so much you were searching for a narrative and you were searching for the ability to be able to control the situation more or be more involved in it in some way. Would that be a fair assessment of when this was taken and how you felt?
Yeah, I think probably, because I've always loved acting and always I always, to be honest, felt frustrated. Maybe the very beginning I didn't, because it was all new and fresh, but I quite quickly felt frustrated with modelling that I couldn't be more involved creatively. And if I'm not creating, I'm like you probably, or like anybody creative, I think you get I'm a creatively inclined person, so it's quite a restricting feeling if you're not able to exercise that in some way. And so I think that was probably a tension I had for most of modelling, and that's why I always kind of did it part-time and moved away from it a bit.
I mean,
but I loved things like this because it was totally mad and different, and I liked the opportunity to go to India or to play in like some surrealist almost film in the Ritz. It was the opportunity to do stranger things like that I loved.
This was a sort of
I remember it being a very memorable shoot, this one, because it was so mad. It was like those moments in life where you're just like, whoa, my life's just mad. Like I'm in the Ritz, like at that dining table with like crazy people throwing food around.
Absolutely.
And I also always push myself, and so I'm sure when I said that comment to you about I would have gone further, like I was probably really nervous to be like pretending to kiss or kissing a dwarf, and probably would have been nervous to kiss anybody on camera, let alone somebody I'd never like imagined kissing before. So I probably was saying that too, that I would have pushed myself further.
Well, the scenario that we set up in that room was, I mean, what I was interested in is actually just the pure physicality. That you're a very tall woman, he's a very short man. He's an incredibly handsome young man, and it's like the sort of how it sort of threw forward the physical differences between you. So how would you make love to a man that size, and those sorts of things, which kind of to me sort of it brought forward all that sort of debate about size and things and important and not important. Because how do you feel you deal with the criticism that tends to wash around the popular press of models all being too skinny or unattainable physically? Because you haven't done anything to be the way you are the way you are.
It'd be great if they called me too skinny now. I'd probably take it quite happily. I don't know, I think it's quite boring. I just kind of ignore it as a debate because I do think that there's problems. There's just so many. There is problems in the representation of ideal beauty and how that probably has huge psychological consequences for people. But I don't think that's unique to fashion, and I don't think that you can blame fashion. I think it's a very chicken-egg problem, and it's very hypocritical for the people who often endorse that issue to then kind of chastise others for it too.
Sure.
Because it's often the same tacky newspapers and magazines that will spend 1 week kind of attacking somebody for the way they look, or drawing attention to cellulite, or making those kind of comments that then go full circle and debate it the other way.
Yeah.